Nobody likes to think of kids in any distress or misery at all. And there's very few, luckily, that are coming across the channel on these boats, although the media would have you think that there's actually quite a few. In the same way that there's a lot less women that come across than, say, for instance, the fighting age males that you see coming across at the moment, which aren't, by the way, getting along in the hotels that they come to over here. Because the reason is they're mixing up Sunni and Shia. Now, I don't know a great deal about that part of Islam, but I know the two aren't exactly great fans of each other. And if you go around Twitter, or you can look on YouTube or other places like this, you can see footage of them going to war with each other within the hotels and outside. So while I don't care about them doing that to each other, I really don't have any, none of my business, you crack on. But the thing is, you bring the war with them when you bring them from the war zone, because that's just the way it goes. But the charities have warned the government that these kids that were being put into these hostels while they're waiting on their asylum claim are going missing, and they're going missing by organised crime. Now, one thing I can say is that if it was white organised gangs that were doing it, you'd know all about it. So we can assume from that it's not white organised gangs and that it's something near home. It started out when I got this news story that 40 had gone missing. Then I looked and it said here that there's 200 gone missing. But the further I look, that there's actually some guys saying there's 440 gone missing. But the one thing you can be sure of is that after the ministry initially dismissed the claims from a whistleblower that children were being abducted from the hotels as not true, the Home Office Minister Simon Murray admitted the figure, including at least one girl the age of 13 and one under the age of 16. Anyway, truth is that it's a lot more than that. So it said a whistleblower from the Home Office contractor Mighty, they own a lot of properties, said that the traffickers were abducting children outside the hotels and bundling them into cars. That strikes me as a massive problem, by the way. No kids anywhere, regardless of colour or religion, should have to go through this. That's the way I feel. And at one hotel in Brighton being one of the more left-wing, and they would love to have these migrants there because it makes them look good, but it doesn't make them look good when they're getting abducted now, does it? So it said one hotel in Brighton, 136 children have now been reported missing in the last 18 months, with 76 still unaccounted for, according to a report in Sunday's Observer. What sort of misery are these kids going through on top of the already misery of having to make it here from Afghanistan? The whistleblowers told the newspaper that children had been taken from a similar hotel in Hythe, Kent, estimating that around 10% of its youngsters disappear each week. Now, some of them may well just be leaving the hotel and vanishing into the ether to work under, out the way somewhere else. But I suspect that many of them have ended up in child slavery or child porn or child prostitution. No kid should have to go through that. A former Children's Commissioner in England, Anne Longfield, said yesterday that the disappearances of children asylum seekers were a national emergency. Well, it's a national disgrace, I know that. She told Sky News that the councils had been warned, the councils had been warning the government for months, and they were saying they're not safe places, but they haven't really done anything about it. Look, it goes on and on and on. But at the end of the day, a lot of these lefties are patting themselves on the back saying, look, we're taking these kids in, we're giving them a better life. Well, actually, no, we're putting them straight in a hotel where very shortly they get preyed upon by monsters who have other means or other designs on these poor young children, as if they hadn't seen enough from the war in Afghanistan and places like that, assuming that that's where they've come from. They may well not have come from there, okay? But let's assume that they have. They've come all the way over, right? And don't forget that some of these parents were packing their kids off with contraception, right, on the trip because they knew what was going to happen to them. Here, Mr. Rapist, if you're going to do it, at least put this on. Whether that works, who knows. However, they've gone through enough, and then they get put in a hotel. Then there's cars waiting for them outside, so as soon as they go out to pop to the shop, they get bundled in a motor, and that's it. Knackered. Nobody sees anything more of them. It's not on. It also makes Britain look bad, which I don't like either. We should never have taken them in the first place. End of. But there you go. So all you lefties that are living around Brighton and Hove at the moment that are patting yourself on the back for a job well done, Not so well done, lads, lasses. If you really were the true caring types, you'd be stood outside protesting these hotels where these kids are going missing, or better still, keeping an eye out for these kids that are going missing and stopping anything more happening. You could set up a vigil outside these hotels, providing extra security maybe, I don't know, asking these kids before they get in a car with adults, do you know these people? Are these friends of yours? Are you safe? Might be an idea, if you care as much as you say you do. There you go. Right, anyway, on to the next. Don't forget, by today we will have done a video on the Reverend Simon Sideways, Simon Evans, and Rev on a Rat. There you go. All right, thanks a lot, and I'll see you in a bit.